So Miley Cyrus keeps doing this thing where she acts crazy and freaks people out and gets a lot of media attention, thereby selling a ton of songs. First she cut her hair short, leg gasp, and then she twerked at the VMAs, and then she swung around naked on a giant wrecking ball, and everyone was like, oh my god! And the reactions have been very extreme. I've heard her called a true role model, and I've heard her called a stupid fucking whore. Admittedly, a little more of the latter one. Unless we're talking about Hitler or Bin Laden or someone like that, I generally don't like it when the whole world just starts trashing someone. It's like it becomes this trend where it's cool to talk shit about certain celebrities, and I'm really just not down with that. And I'm not talking about people like Chris Brown who beats women. Seriously, fuck that guy. I'm talking about people who are hated on for no other reason than that it is cool to hate them. I just realized my chair is really low. Hang on a second. There we go. I'll be the first to admit that the Twilight movies are so terrible, but I still don't like it when people talk shit about Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. Somehow, despite this, I often catch myself hating on them. It's this trend, and you get immediate cool points for dissing them. I swear it gets to the point where nobody seems able to even recognize when they do something good. And they may not be the two most skilled actors on the planet, but the sheer amount of hatred leveled at them by people who want to be all superior to the Twihards is just completely disproportionate to their acting skill. I'm getting off topic here, but my point is that I hate irrational hatred. And as such, here is a brief defense of Miley Cyrus. By the way, thanks to Alex Graham for making me a fucking theme song. He made that in like 10 minutes while we were Skyping. It was ridiculous. So anyway, I gotta say, I've never really paid much attention to Miley Cyrus. The only reason I even knew about her back in the Disney days was because certain of my family members idolized her. Said family members were of course completely unable to detect the inherent superficiality issues with Disney Channel fluff, and as such they now consider the girl to have fallen from grace. I imagine Miley Cyrus is probably somewhat resentful of her Disney Channel past, and in having her image in pop culture defined by the aforementioned fluff. As such, now she's probably just overcompensating in the opposite direction to steal back her identity. Maybe. That is. I don't really know. I hate it when people try to overanalyze my motives, so I'm gonna shut up with that. The real question though is this: should Miley Cyrus be acting the way she's acting? If yes, why does everyone hate her for it? And if no, is our reaction proportionate to the crime? Okay, I'm going to make several points here. The first of which is that it is not our responsibility to police the actions of celebrities. Now, I realize that parents are worried about the example that Miley Cyrus is setting for their kids who have looked up to her for all these years, and that's a reasonable parental instinct. But let me be clear on this point. It is not the responsibility of Miley Cyrus or of any other celebrity to behave the way that you personally want your kids to behave. That's your responsibility. Furthermore, we need to teach our children to base their actions not on what other people are doing, but on what is reasonable and considerate. This is one thing I can say for certain that my parents nailed. They made it clear to me from an early age that idolatry in pop culture was completely foolish, and that just because you admire someone's acting or singing abilities does not mean you should replicate their life decisions. You judge each decision on its own individual merit, not on the overall merit of the person at hand, and certainly not on something completely unrelated like musical skill. The second point I want to make is that we need to get our facts straight on what sorts of decisions are bad decisions. This point can only work subsequently to my first point, because this is where the whole judging decisions on their own individual merit thing comes in. Chris Brown beating the shit out of Rihanna is not cool, and I can see that because I'm not so busy idolizing him that I can't tell when he's acting shitty. On the other hand, Miley Cyrus shaking her ass or swinging around naked on a giant wrecking ball, I somehow fail to see how that should be upsetting anyone. The only way this could be harmful is if she was somehow harming herself, and if the people who idolize her had not been taught by their parents not to mindlessly imitate the actions of celebrities. This hypothetical situation puts you, the parent, at fault. But this is irrelevant because Miley Cyrus isn't causing herself any harm. So the girl likes to be naked. Who doesn't? How the hell is that a bad thing? I love being naked. And I've said this before, but I have to point out that the social stigma surrounding nakedness is so fucking stupid. The only logical reasons to cover yourself are for protection or perhaps the convenience of pockets. Our dependence on clothes as a way to hide ourselves has caused a ridiculous amount of shame in our own physicality, and has pushed us to ludicrous levels of superficiality. But that's enough of that tangent. My point is that Miley Cyrus being naked in a video does not make her a dumb slut. It makes her a healthy human being. It possibly also makes her someone who knows how to exploit a cultural weakness for naked girls. It worked on me. The last point I want to make is that this was not a poorly made video. It had some excellent camera work and some very simple but very striking visuals, even without Miley's naked body. Moreover, and this is subjective to the individual viewer, but I find that she has some very good acting skills, and I enjoyed the song as well. Personally, I find the Wrecking Ball Miley Cyrus to be far less superficial than the Disney Channel Miley Cyrus. The whole thing is taken way over the top, of course, what with her licking Liam Hemsworth's totally innocent metaphorical sledgehammer, but I'm not gonna trash her overall artistic style just because it doesn't always suit me personally, and I hope a few more of us can get off our high horse and stop hating people just because it's cool to do so. Nemarie. Was because certain of my family members, if no, shit. The real question though is this: is the way Miley shit. By the way, I started a Minecraft server this week. I'll usually post on Facebook if I'm about to log on, but it's a full-time server, so you can get on anytime you want. It's called the Wavering World, and I'll put the IP address in the description.